Good evening, you're watching To The Point. We report out from Jahangirpuri to get our viewers the very latest that has come in. News that has broken just about in the last 15 minutes. More arrests have taken place. The count now goes up to 27 in those arrested in what went down on the evening of 16th April when a Shobha Yatra was taken out right here at Jahangirpuri. There are claims and there are counterclaims. We really don't know, till the actual investigation by the crime branch takes place on what led or what was the flashpoint that led to the communal clashes. But the politics on it has broken out. One of what the police says is a key conspirator in what went down, Ansar. Now, huge amounts of politics on that. Till yesterday, the BJP was attacking the Aadmi party, saying that Ansar was a part of the Aadmi party and was campaigning for them. The latest that has come in, the Aadmi party has made a sensational claim. Ashish Singh from the Aadmi party has tweeted out pictures of the riot accused Ansar showing him at BJP events with workers. Ashish also claims that Ansar plays an active role in the BJP and helped BJP candidate Sangeeta Bajaj fight polls. The AAP says BJP's role in the riots is clear and the party now needs to apologize. All right, in midst of these claims and counterclaims, let's cut across to all the political reactions and all the politics that's exploding on the sidelines of this communal clash.
Saturday's violence has left a communal scar in northeast Delhi. Even as tension remains and Jahangirpuri urgently needs soothing, political parties are back to blame-mongering. The Bharatiya Janata Party claimed links between one of the accused and the Aadmi party.
Most of the people who are accused of riots, this riot and previous Delhi riots, they had or have direct and indirect relationship with Aadmi party. Therefore, Aadmi party is liable to respond to the nation. What action they are taking on their activists?
100% PFI बैन होनी चाहिए. जब तक PFI जैसा बैन नहीं होंगी तो ये जो लोग फंडिंग होकर जो छोटे-छोटे 4 दिन के बाद पैसे वाले होते हैं, कबाड़ियों की दुकान पर बैठते हैं और वो 2-3 साल में करोड़पति अरबपति बन जाते हैं, बिल्डिंगें बन जाती हैं, तो वो PFI के ही फंडिंग के कारण होता है, जो फंडिंग इनको बाहर से होती है.
AAP hit back, accusing Delhi BJP chief Adesh Gupta of fueling the violence by backing the rioters.
दिल्ली के अंदर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशन ठीक नहीं है. जो बीजेपी है ये पुलिस उसके अंडर में आती है. बीजेपी को पुलिस को ठीक से कंट्रोल करना चाहिए, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को ठीक से लागू करना चाहिए, उनको दंगों को रोकना चाहिए. दंगे करवाने वाले खुद हैं और दंगों के बारे में बिल्कुल सख्ती से पेश आना चाहिए.
कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी गुंडों की पार्टी है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी दंगे कराती है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी हिंसा कराती है. वरना ऐसा कैसे हो गया कि आम आदमी पार्टी शोभा यात्रा कराती है तो वहां पे कोई दंगा नहीं होता, लेकिन जहां पे भाजपा खुद किसी कार्यक्रम का आयोजन कराती है वहां पे गुंडागर्दी भी हो जाती है, वहां पे हिंसा भी हो जाती है, वहां पे दंगे भी हो जाते हैं.
Ansar, the man that the Bharatiya Janata Party linked to the AAP, has a string of cases against him. While politics rages over the riots, India Today has unearthed the CCTV footage, which appear to indicate that the violence was pre-planned. In the CCTV footage, a group of men are seen gathering a day before the riots. It shows local residents trying to stop people from arming themselves with sticks, even engaging in a small scuffle with them.
Finally, a blame game has started between the BJP and the Aadmi party, where the BJP said that Ansar, one of the prime accused of the Jahangirpuri violence, who's now been arrested by the Delhi police, is actually an AAP man. But Atishi Barlena has said that he is also a BJP man. So, where does he belong to? What are his political affiliations? But both parties sparring with each other for the blame game that has now started over the Jahangirpuri violence. With Pavan Kumar in New Delhi, Milan Sharma for India.
All right. Also, the latest before we cut across to our guests is that NSA has been slapped on 5 accused of what went down. I want to quickly bring in my colleague Abhishek Anand, who's standing right by. Abhishek, the latest coming in is that NSA has now been slapped on 5 accused. Who are these 5 accused? Is Ansar a part of the 5 accused?
Well, the police is investigating the modus operandi of the accused, and if the NSA's pattern applies on the type of violence which they conducted, the police is going to slap the NSA on these 5 accused. As of now, while the political blame game is on, the police's focus is to identify the persons who are actually involved in a kind of, a kind of gangster type of violence in which they instigate people, they gathered a crowd, and they collected the stones and rocks on the rooftops, they collected the weapons that they had, and then they executed the violence at the tail of the entire procession.
I appreciate you joining us, Abhishek. Also, like we pointed out earlier, is that the Home Ministry has now slapped NSA on 5 of the main accused. We're going to continue to get our viewers the latest, but I want to cut across to our political panelists right now. I have with me Ashish Sood. He's the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Akshay Marathe, spokesperson Aam Aadmi Party. We're also joined by Yashovardhan Azad, former Special Director, Intelligence Bureau, and former Prime Minister Security in charge. Mr. Sood, the question is, which party now will take ownership of Ansar, who's one of the key accused in what went down here? Yesterday, it was the BJP that released pictures of Ansar with Aam Aadmi Party leaders. Today, you have one of the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party doing the same for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
They are releasing these pictures, the old pictures of 5 to 7 years ago, itself specifies and makes it amply clear that the Ansar, the gangster, belonged to Aam Aadmi Party. They are trying to shed hands from him. They are showing the pictures of 7 to 8 years ago. The antecedents were not proper. They were all the people who were campaigning with Ansar were they were thrown out of the party. They all are now the part of Aam Aadmi Party, and there are other hundreds of people whom we have thrown out of the party are still their part. Now, because they have been caught red-handed, like in the case of Tahir Hussain, who was their member who fought election on their ticket, Ansar has been seen working in close confidence with the Aam Aadmi people. So now, just to divert the attention, they are coming out with the logics that BJP ने दंगे करवा दिए, BJP ने लोगों को मरवा दिया, because they want to divert attention from Satyendra Jain being questioned by ED, his property being attached by ED, their corruption charges on 4 of their municipal corporators, just to divert attention from the core issue. Aam Aadmi Party was going with its national ambitions. After the Punjab, that we have stopped, we have finished corruption in Punjab in 10 days. Whereas their minister his properties are being attached. 4 of their corporators have been caught red-handed asking money from the people on the television channels.
Mr. Sood, I'm going to go to Akshay Marathe. Sir? Mr. Sood, I'm going to go to Akshay Marathe, but I'll ask you, so are you admitting that Ansar was a part of the BJP and you threw him out? Is that what you're saying?
No, he was never. There was the picture is being showed that he was campaigning with some candidate. It has to be verified. I have been the general secretary of the party. I have never seen the lady there in question. The pictures are being shown. So I am not saying this. The pictures, as they said, are 5 to 7 years old. And what pictures were shown yesterday are the current pictures just few months ago. So this makes it amply clear.
Akshay Marathe, you're pulling out. Okay. Akshay Marathe, you're pulling out skeletons of the past and trying to palm it off to the BJP while they belong to you is the charge of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Preeti, the tragedy of the BJP today is that it has become a parking lot for goons and thugs in our society. If you look at the last few weeks, whenever the BJP workers have indulged in any kind of violence, the BJP actually promotes them, encourages them, felicitates them. The 8 people who were accused of attacking the Chief Minister's residence were invited to the BJP Delhi office and garlanded by the BJP Delhi chief. This is the message that the BJP is giving out to society today, that if you indulge in violence, if
Sir,
you indulge...
can you not interrupt? You are not interrupted. Please don't interrupt. Let's go one by one. You'll all be given equal opportunity. Respect your co-panelists. Go ahead, Mr. Marathe.
I'm not interrupting. I am not. I simply raised my finger that I should be given a chance to reply.
Okay, sir. Sir, raise it in your time. Raise it in your time. Go ahead, Mr. Marathe, make your point.
The point number 1 is that the BJP is giving a message today to all of society that if you engage in violence and anti-social activities, we will promote you, we will encourage you and felicitate you in our head offices. Point number 2, on the same day that the BJP organized this Jahangirpuri Shobha Yatra, Aam Aadmi Party also organized Shobha Yatras. Across the city, at least 30 leaders of the party organized different programs on Hanuman Jayanti, but no violence was seen anywhere where the Aam Aadmi Party was involved. But whenever the BJP is involved, because they have a problem of goons and thugs in their party, wherever they organize anything, you will see this kind of violence. It's not surprising at all. And number 3, the central government has released data. Let me just finish this last point, that in the last 5 years alone, the country has seen 3,400 communal riots. This is historic and unprecedented. The country has never seen this level of communal violence until the BJP came to power. What does this tell you? It tells you that the BJP not only protects the rioters, but actually encourages them.
Mr. Marathe, I want to bring in Mr. Azad in this conversation as well, but I want to ask you, is it the fact that you have drawn out pictures which are 8 years old and trying to palm off Mr. Ansar now, who's a key conspirator to the Bharatiya Janata Party, when your own leaders in the present have been standing with him and pictures are there? That's the charge.
No, absolutely not. The pictures show very clearly that Ansar was a leader of the BJP. He was campaigning for Sangeeta Bajaj, who is a BJP councillor. How is he an Aam Aadmi Party member? I refuse to get this logic that the BJP is trying to push off on us.
How old are these pictures? Okay, how old are these pictures, Mr. Marathe?
These pictures are from the MCD election that happened last in Delhi. And he's clearly seen next to the BJP leader Sangeeta Bajaj campaigning for her, wearing a BJP badge on his heart, wearing a BJP topi. Okay. I mean, it's so self-evident.
Okay. I would like to bring in Mr. Azad. Okay, fair enough. I'd like to bring in Mr. Azad in this conversation. Mr. Yashovardhan Azad, sir, can we go one by one, sir? You said you gave your part. Mr. Marathe spoke what he had to say. Can I bring in the third panelist and I'll come back to you? Sir, I'll come back to you. Please respect your third co-panelist. He's heard both of you patiently. Let me introduce him in the debate and I will come to you. Hold your peace till then. Mr. Azad, I want to ask you, the fact is, the BJP says that one of the key conspirators is a part of the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party says, no, not at all. He's a part of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The word on ground, sir, I've been reporting is also that he was a police informer. Is this what basically is a petty criminal who's attached himself to possibly, any political establishment who plays a part, especially in local politics, and of course is a police informer, because you know best, local, petty criminals are mostly, some of them, local informers, police informers as well?
No, police informers can be a very high caliber too. But Preeti, this very highly informed debate about whether Ansar belongs to this party or the other party is actually irrelevant. I mean, a crook is a crook. And you're right, a criminal sort of slides across various parties and actually gliding towards the party in power. In this case, Ansar must be in a real dilemma because one party is at the center and the other party is ruling the state. Given all that aside, let me say that on a shameful day, that is April 16th, when we have this violence and we have these kind of goons marauding around, and it's really unfortunate as to how they have their full play in the public without any controls. And let me tell you another thing, Preeti, the most serious part of this entire horrific incident is that this procession did not have the permission. The other two processions had the permission from the requisite authority, but this one didn't have the permission. Right. And therefore, the culpability falls on them. I mean, they were the ones who went in. So the organizers should be held absolutely under the NSA. They were carrying naked swords. They were whatever happened, it should be blamed on them because they did it without the procession. And secondly, a posse of policemen were there with them. And obviously, it was impossible for them to contain them because, a posse could not do anything. But given the intelligence, what intelligence? It was rocket science. It was very, very well known that this kind of incident could happen. Given the atmosphere in the country, the police should have controlled it with great force right there at the point of conflagration. And I think it's very sad that we still see
Mr.
people
Azad,
hanging around.
Right. I want to ask you a follow-up question on this. And I want to...
Making arrests, cross cases. This is a very easy part.
Yes.
But the point, at that point, they fail.
So I want to ask you, Mr. Azad, a quick follow-up question, because the second part that, is, of course, the politics of it, who belongs, Ansar belongs to which party is aside. But I want to ask you, sir, now, in the last 20 minutes, news has broken that NSA has been slapped against 5 perpetrators of crime. The Home Ministry is going to take the strictest action. The fact is, all 5 of them, sir, belong to the minority community. So clearly, they were not part of the Shobha Yatra. On the other hand, the third Shobha Yatra, which, has been now clearly established, was not given permission. One of the main accused in that, is from the VHP, that aside, but Section 188 has been slapped against him. Shouldn't the charges be harder?
He should be put under NSA. The main man, I think, who was organizing the procession and without any permission, and who's leading the procession, should be held under NSA. There is no doubt about that. And that is exactly, you see, this is the problem with the police. What happens is, at the point when the fracas takes place, actual point of conflagration, the police is trying to save and do a middle role. No, at the point of conflagration, especially during communal incidents, it should be fired to kill and contain it right there. Now, thereafter, it is most important to find out who's the aggressor. It's very easy. Once the stone pelting takes place from both sides, to register cases both sides, arrest people both sides, that's the easiest part, and say that we are fully in command. That is not the issue. So here, the first thing is it should be slapped. The NSA should be slapped on the organizers, the people who are carrying the naked shields. And yes, there is also the other part. It's not that the other people were not really, unprepared. They had fully prepared themselves and they reacted with equal force. So in that case, of course, they can be arrested. But the bigger charge lies against these people who started everything without any permission.
Mr. Sood, taking off from what Mr. Azad said, and I just want to come to you. If you're slapping NSA against the likes of Ansar, should a Section 188, where bail is given as you're charged with, that section, shouldn't Mr. Prem Sharma, who's from the VHP Bajrang Dal, who organized this illegal Shobha Yatra, be also slapped with NSA, sir?
The problem with the whole discussion we are presently involved is that we are trying to legitimize violence. Yes, NSA should be slapped on anyone who is taking law into the hands. If Mr. Azad...
I want to give out the names. Mr. Sood, we are getting a news break. Sir, would you give me a minute? We are getting in a news break. I'm coming right back to you. I'm sorry. Sir, it's a news break. It's a news break. I'm coming right back to you. I promise I'm coming right back to you. There's the latest news break that is coming in. The names of the 5 accused who've been slapped with the NSA and the NSA have been imposed on them have been released. Those names are Ansar, Salim Chikna, Sonu, aka Imam Sheikh, Dilshad, Ahid. Mr. Sood, you can continue. Once again, Prem Sharma, the organizer of the Shobha Yatra, should he not also face the NSA or only these 5 names, sir?
I don't want to name. I'm not interested in the names. I am interested in whoever takes law into the hands should be slapped with NSA. Magar, what is this kind of logic? When we slap NSA on the perpetrators, we come out with the names. और जब ये पूछा जाता है कि ये उग्रवाद किसने किया, तब कहते हैं उग्रवाद का धर्म नहीं है. There is no religion to the terror. There is no religion to the crime. When these are slapped, what kind of logic Mr. Azad was giving is even if that Shobha Yatra, as he is accusing, is without permission, law should be should take its own course. And
sir, are you defending the Shobha Yatra? Are you defending the illegal Shobha Yatra?
No, just let me complete. It is to be declared by the police. There are different versions. There people are showing the permissions also. Even if it was that without permission, does it give anybody
sir,
a right
the police,
to fire on the
okay,
people?
one second, Mr. Sood, sir,
people?
the police commissioner, the deputy police commissioner on our channel has come out and made it very clear that the permission was not given for the third Shobha Yatra. So there is no conflicting version. Don't go by WhatsApp, don't go by WhatsApp.
Even if it is that, who gives them the right to take law into their hands? They can shoot, they can fire on the people there. And I think NSA should be slapped on the people who legitimize violence. People like Mr. Azad who legitimize violence, who gives shelter to the violence. NSA should be slapped on this kind of
one second,
attitude.
Sir. You know, I'm going to go to Mr. Azad. 1 second, sir. Don't make such preposterous statements, sir. Please. I'll go to Mr. Azad. Let him defend himself. Mr. Azad, would you want to say anything at all?
I will not dignify his remarks by replying to him, but I can only say one thing, that this shouting and political grandstanding which he is trying to do does not take away the blame or the charge. Don't try and be more loyal than the king. I am legitimizing violence as a police officer. And when I am saying that actual action should have been taken by the police at the point of conflagration, this is crazy. I've never heard any political representative making a statement like this. And let me tell you, your logic is so funny that maybe if you care to really stop and analyze it, then you'll realize how foolish it is. I'm talking about a procession. It's a serious matter, Mr. Sood. This is a shameless violence, a horrific incident.
Right.
And it was done without police permission. And you're allowing me to shout
you can
at the top of your voice.
You have all the
right.
Are you crazy?
Please have the
okay, once again, Mr. Sood, he is not defend. Mr. Azad, do you condemn the stone pelting incident? I'm sorry I have to ask you this on national television, but sir, please condemn it so we can move on in this debate.
What? I mean, I have already said that the other side was fully prepared. I already said that action should be taken against the people who are doing violence.
Right.
This man just keeps shouting.
I want to give in closing statements. Right, okay. I want to get into closing statements. Akshay Marathe. Sir, are you screaming? I'll come to you. Mr. Sood, let me come to you. 1 minute, please close. Make your statement and I'll go to Akshay Marathe after that.
Simply want to say this. If you are condemning the procession, I also stand by you. Law should take its own course to penalize people who have taken out without the procession, without permission. But when you say this, you should also have the courage to condemn people who are taking law in their own hands and pelting stones. They are firing at people, they are firing at policemen. And when you don't condemn them, you legitimize them. It is very easy to say that I am taking a political stand. But it is also very easy for people like you to condemn one side.
But sir, he just condemned it. Mr. Sood, he just condemned it. Akshay Marathe, he just condemned it, sir. He condemned it right now. Akshay Marathe, sir, he just did 10 seconds ago. Akshay Marathe, closing comments, please.
See, I think the first leader in Delhi to condemn the stone pelting was Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. As soon as this incident occurred, he tweeted condemning the stone pelting at the Shobha Yatra, and there is no justifying that kind of behavior. There is absolutely no space in our civilized society for that kind of violence. But the question is, the people responsible for law and order in Delhi, which is Mr. Amit Shah in the Home Ministry and the Prime Minister of India, both of them have a voice that they should use to calm people down and appeal for peace. But look at what's happening in the country for the last 10 days. Neither of them have appealed for peace. Neither of them have asked people on both sides to calm down and take it easy, because this is what they want in the country. This is what they want to see. The kind of violence we are seeing in the country today has the blessings of the BJP from the very top. It is not about Ansar and which party he belongs to. It is about the culture of violence that the BJP is promoting today.
I want to bring it. Okay. I'm going to close the show, but Mr. Azad, can you once again, before this clip becomes viral, do you condemn both sides of the act? Okay, we seem to have lost it, but he did so. He did so when we did speak to him. I appreciate all three of you for joining us. Thank you there. There is a change of shift right behind me at Jahangir Puri where the cops are concerned. We're going to go into a quick break. Up next is my colleague Shivarur.